We have here a 2015 Yamaha VStar XV 250 motorcycle, and as you can see here, these levers pretty far out from the handlebar. Even for my hands, it's kind of a reach sometimes. And this is my girlfriend's bike, and she has much smaller hands. So what we're going to do is, after looking for a long time, I finally found some replacement levers that will fit. And I wasn't sure if they'd fit. Based on the website, it says they weren't the right size. But I looked them over real carefully, and here's the replacement brake lever. You can see it looks real similar. The only difference here is these are adjustable. This little dial right here, it's got 6 different positions. I'll show you once we get it on, but it's got 6 different positions. So you can adjust the reach for how far you pull the lever. Now, the other thing that's nice about these is if you do happen to have a small tip over accident, these will bend up out of the way, so you won't end up breaking your levers. Okay, so that's the brake one. I've got the clutch lever here too. Same principle. You can see they're a good distance from the handlebar. This one also has a little lever for adjusting. Got 6 positions, and these are pretty easy, from what I can tell, direct replacement. I'll go through all the steps and show you how to do this. Okay, on the brake lever here, and I've already loosened it to make this a little bit easier, there's a 10mm lock nut on the bottom. I've already loosened and got that off right there. And then once you take that off, sorry, you got this post you want. Okay, I've loosened that bolt completely. It's still a little tight because there's a spring inside there that's holding the lever in. I'll show you when I take this bolt out. I'm gonna push on the lever some, sorry. Oh, come on. There, and you can see it kind of wants to pop out. The reason for that is there's a spring in there that keeps the lever in the open position before you close the brake. And then you also want to watch, there's a little rubber grommet right here. And if you ever want to put the old levers back on, you want to make sure not to lose that. Okay, I've put a little bit of waterproof grease on the lever. And took the spring out of the old lever and put that spring in the new lever. And then what you're going to do is, inside there's a spot you can see there's kind of worn. You'll see it on your own, but that spring rests against that spot. So you want to push the lever in there and hold that spring in a little bit so you can put in the bolt. Okay, when you're putting that bolt in there, in order to get the holes to line up for the bolt to go through, you're going to have to push on that spring a little bit in order to get the bolt in there, and then it's going to turn in with a wrench to actually get it all the way down flush to the bottom here, so then you can put the nut on the back side. Okay, I got the bolt put all the way in there with the wrench, so it's nice and tight. I didn't tighten it real tight because I don't want to take a chance on stripping. It's a small bolt, and you're going to have this nut on the back side to hold it in place anyway. So now I'm going to go ahead and use my 10mm wrench and put that on the back. It's going to be a little bit trickier because you can see there's a cable in there. There's a barrel on the end of that cable. And so you take the bolt out, and then what you're going to have to do is unhook that barrel from the lever. You can kind of see the barrel in there by pulling on the cable, and then hang on to that the end of that cable so you can pull it out and be able to put the new lever in. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish taking out the bolt with my 10mm wrench, and then I'll show you how it goes on. Okay, I got the bolt out, so I can rotate that lever out. If you kind of turn it like that, and lift, you'll see the barrel come out. There you go, and you can see where the barrel is. Now the fun part is on the new lever, you're going to need to pull that cable out enough that you can get that barrel in there and rotate it back in. And here again, you've also got a little rubber grommet that fits in here. And if you want to ever put the old levers back on, you need to make sure you keep that. And you can see that fell off when I was taking it off. Okay, I've got my new lever here. You can see the barrel right there. And on the new lever, if I flip it over, you can see that's where the barrel goes, and then the cable needs to go through there. So what I'm going to do is use a pair of needle nose pliers, pull out that barrel enough I can pop it in there, and then put the lever in and rotate it around. I'm not going to do that on the camera because I can't do it with one hand, but I'll make sure and show you the finished aspect. Okay, I've got the cable in there, the barrel. You can see how I can pull the cable a little bit. So I'm going to rotate the lever into position, and then I put some waterproof grease on there. Going to line up the hole right there, and then put the top bolt through. Okay, I've got the bolt on there decently tight. I'm going to take my 10mm wrench, and I'm going to put the lock nut on the bottom and get that one tight. Alright, got it all tightened up, ready to go. I'm going to try and show you the range of motion here. This is the most open position, 6, and then if you go down to 1, that's the closed position. Now one thing you're going to want to make sure you do before you actually get out there and ride this, make sure everything works well. Make sure that now that the lever is a little closer, that you can still pull it all the way, and you can disengage the clutch enough to change gears. If not, you may need to adjust the tension on your clutch cable. Make sure you can get all the way. Okay, just one more little thing to add. I noticed after I was done, there was a little bit more up and down play on the lever than I wanted. You can't see it now. And since there's no indentation for that grommet that came with the other set of levers, the little rubber grommet, what I did is I got a little flat fiber washer and put that in where that grommet would have been underneath, not completely underneath, but inside, to take up some of that extra slack. And this is got this at the hardware store. It's a 5/16 inch fiber washer, 0.32 inches thick, and that's what it looks like. They come 2 to a pack, so I'm going to put one on the other one. Just put a little bit of grease on that to make sure it's still, doesn't constrict it from moving at all. And make sure when you do that on yours that the tolerance isn't too tight. You don't want your lever binding at all.